Quick question. Ask 10 people on your project, what's the biggest risk right now? Many of them say communication. Almost none of them. They'll say budget, they'll say timeline, they'll say scope. And here's the twist. Half the time, those problems are actually a communication problem wearing a disguise like a guy in a trench coat and a fake mustache pretending to be someone else. I'm Nigel Thomas. I run Simplify Management. 20 plus years leading big projects taught me one thing the hard way. Almost every failing project I've ever looked at closely had the same ghost hiding behind it. Somebody didn't know something in time or found out in a way that made them feel managed instead of informed. This is part 3 in our 5-part series on the biggest problems tripping up delivery leaders. Part 1 was weak executive sponsorship. Part 2 was the strategy execution gap. Today, it's communication. And trust me, this one is sneakier than the other two because everyone thinks they're already doing it well. Here's the trap. Nobody thinks they have a communication problem. Everybody thinks they're communicating just fine. They send the email, they post the update, they mentioned it in the meeting. Job done, right? Wrong. Because communication isn't about what you send. It's about what the other person actually understood. And those two are completely different things. Think of it like a Zoom call with a broken speaker on one end. You're talking away clear as day on your side, but the person on the other end is only catching every third word, filling in the blanks with guesses, nodding along like they got the whole message. You'd never know the speaker was broken because they never told you. They just acted like they understood. That's most project teams. The sender is confident, the receiver is guessing, and nobody checks. Here's proof this isn't just a feeling. Researchers asked project sponsors, the senior leaders backing a project, whether they thought business priorities were being clearly communicated to everyone. 60 out of 100 sponsors said, yes, clearly communicated. Then they asked the project managers, the people actually running their work day to day. The same question. Only 43 out of 100 agreed. That's not a small gap. That's two groups of people standing on the same project convinced they're reading the same map and they're not even close. Okay, let's look at what this actually costs because it is way more than hurt feelings in a meeting. The Project Management Institute, a huge research group that studies projects all over the world, found that 1 out of every 5 failed projects failed specifically because communication broke down. And ineffective communication is a factor in half of all unsuccessful projects. Here's the part that should make every executive sit up straight. For every $1 billion a company spends on projects, roughly $135 million of that is at risk of being wasted. Of that wasted money, 56% or about $75 million comes down to poor communication alone. Not bad luck, not the market, just people not talking to each other properly. Think of it like a house with a small leak behind the wall. Nobody sees it, nobody smells it, but every single day water is quietly ruining the wood behind the drywall. By the time anyone notices, it's not a small fix anymore, it's half your budget gone. And you can't even point to the exact day it started. Now, here's a stat that changes how you should think about your teams. Prosci, a group that studied change management for decades, tracked how sponsor effectiveness connects to whether a project actually meets its goals. Projects with an extremely effective sponsor, someone who communicates well and shows up, met their goals 79 out of 100 times. Projects with an extremely ineffective sponsor met their goals only 27 out of 100 times. Same company, same budget, same deadline pressure, only real difference is whether people were actually kept in the loop. That's not a small edge. That's basically the difference between a coin flip and a sure thing. Now, some of you are thinking, okay, Nigel, this is an old school project problem. We use agile now. We're modern. This doesn't apply to us. I've got bad news. The Project Management Institute looked at predictive projects. That's the old style, planned out in advance approach. Hybrid projects, which mix both, and agile projects, the flexible sprint-based approach. Success rates were 74.4 out of 100. 74.6 out of 100, and 75.4 out of 100, all basically the same, within 1 point of each other. It's like arguing whether a red car or blue car gets you to work faster when neither one has gas in the tank. The method isn't the problem. The fuel is the problem. The fuel is communication. Researchers studying big company transformations found that senior leaders are about 20% more likely than everyone else in the company to believe that the message got out clearly to the whole organization. The people furthest from the actual work are the most confident it landed, and they're usually wrong. Now, some of you are watching this thinking, okay, Nigel, this is all about regular projects. What about AI? Everybody's launching an AI project right now. Surely that's different. It's not different. It's the exact same problem, just moving faster and with bigger consequences. A research group called RAND spent months interviewing data scientists and engineers, the actual people who built these AI systems for a living. When they asked why AI projects failed, the number one answer wasn't bad data. It wasn't the technology being too new. It was misunderstanding and miscommunication about what problem the AI was even supposed to solve in the first place. Picture this. You ask your teenager to clean the room. You mean pick up the clothes off the floor and make the bed. They spend 3 hours rearranging the bookshelf by color and call it done. Technically, they did something. It just wasn't the thing you actually needed or wanted. That's basically what's happening inside a lot of AI projects right now. The technical team built something impressive. It just isn't the thing business actually solved. And this is happening at scale. Gartner predicts that 30% of generative AI projects, meaning AI that creates text, images, or answers, will get abandoned after the testing phase because of unclear business value and weak risk controls. One research firm found that The share of companies abandoning most of their AI projects before they ever go live jumped from 17% to 42% in a single year. Is that crazy? That same research found something we already know from earlier in this video. Companies with higher AI failure rates get more pushback from their own employees and customers. Companies with lower failure rates take time up front to think through risk and compliance before they even start building. Sound familiar? It's the same stakeholder gap, just wearing a lab coat. And AI adds brand new problems on top of the old ones. One major study found that 2 out of every 3 technology leaders personally were held responsible for AI systems they don't actually have full control over. More than 3 out of 4 say their company's oversight and rules haven't kept up with how fast AI is moving. That same study tracked an average of 54 AI-related incidents per company in a single year that needed a human to step in and fix something. More than a third of those involved sensitive information getting exposed or an actual security breach. It's not a talent problem. That's not even a technology problem. It's the exact same stakeholder and communication gap this whole video is about. Except now it's moving at AI speed with a lot more exposure if it goes wrong. We'll go much deeper on the AI side of all of this in part 5 of the series. For now, just remember, don't let the shiny new AI project convince you the old rules don't apply. They apply more than ever. All right, enough bad news. Here are 4 fixes, and none of them require a fancy new software tool. Fix number 1, write down an actual communication plan, not a list of email addresses, a real plan that says who needs to know what, how often they hear it, and through which channel. High-performing project teams create a formal plan like this for nearly twice as many of their projects as compared to low performers. If your plan currently lives entirely in your head, that's not a plan, that's a memory. And memories are terrible at scaling past one person. Fix number 2, go check the gap yourself. Don't assume it's closed. Remember that Zoom call with the broken speaker? The only way you find out it's broken is by asking the person on the other end what they actually heard. So ask your stakeholders directly. Do you feel informed? Do you understand what we're prioritizing right now and why? Don't guess based on the fact that you sent an email 3 weeks ago. Sending is not the same as landing. And don't rely on your team's chat, or those are just meant for informal communication, no matter how many channels and other majiggies they put into your Slack. You need to send emails and you need to have a document repository. Fix number 3, get in the room with people outside your own chain of command. One major study of technology leaders found that the ones who succeed most often meet with peers outside their own department roughly 4 times more than the ones who struggle. Think of it like a group project in school where each person only ever talks to their own little group and never checks in with the other groups. Everyone shows up on presentation day with a completely different slide deck. That's your project if you only ever talk to your own team. Fix number 4, match how often you communicate to how much risk and distance is involved, not to what's convenient for your calendar. The stakeholders furthest from the daily work and the parts of the project carrying the most risk need more structured check-ins, not fewer. One major study on transformations found that something as simple as line manager briefings, meaning each manager personally briefing their own small team, doubled the likelihood of success. Simple and consistent beats fancy and occasional every single time. Let's bring it together. Stakeholder and communication breakdown is a gap between what you think you told people and what they actually understood. It doesn't show up with its own name on your risk list. It hides inside the scope problem. And the fix is 4 simple moves. 1, write an actual communication plan. 2, go check whether the message actually landed instead of assuming it did. And 3, meet regularly with people outside your own team. 4, match your communication effort to the risk, not to your convenience. Do those 4 things and remember the Prosci number. Effective communicators hit their goals 79 out of 100 times. Ineffective ones hit them 27 out of 100 times. That's not a small edge. That's the difference between a project that finishes and a project that limps. Everything I just walked you through, the PMI numbers, the Prosci research, the Gartner and BCG and McKinsey data, plus a lot more detail I didn't have time for here, is written out in full in my LinkedIn article. It's called Stakeholder and Communication Breakdown, and it's article number 3 in my 5-part series on the biggest problems facing delivery leaders today. If you want the exact sources and the full breakdown you can bring straight to your leadership team, go read it. The link is right below this video. 5 minutes of reading, and it might save your team from a very expensive, very avoidable mess. If any of this hit close to home, here's what I actually do. I'm Nigel Thomas, and I run Simplify Management. I spent over 20 years leading big, complicated projects inside big companies. I've lived through this exact breakdown more than I'd like to admit. Now I coach executives, delivery leaders, and project sponsors, and project managers. Basically anyone whose job depends on the right people knowing the right things at the right time. Working with me looks like this. We sit down with how your team actually communicates today, not the version on paper, and we find exactly where the gap is. Is it your communication plan? Is it your stakeholder check-ins? Is it your middle manager briefing? Then we fix it together with a plan your team can actually run with. No posts to Slack, no posts to team, just a simple document that you put in your document repository and you email to everybody on your team. You could post it on Slack if you really wanted to. And no thick binder that just sits in a drawer. It's just clear, practical steps that close the gap between what you say and what people actually hear. That sounds like something your team needs. There's a link in the description. Let's talk. So back to the Zoom meeting with a broken speaker. Somewhere on your team right now, someone is nodding along to a message they only half got, And nobody knows the speaker is broken because nobody ever asked. Communication isn't the thing you send. It's the thing the other person can repeat back to you in their own words. Fix that and half your other problems quietly disappear with it. I'm Nigel Thomas. Thanks for watching. Article 4 in this series is coming soon, and it's about the resource and talent gap. See you in the next video.